Students can be very creative in their gatherings.
That's why Urbana's mayor issued an emergency order restricting gatherings ahead of the fall semester. Now, thousands of U of I students have returned to Champaign-Urbana.
Mayor Diane Marlin says she's trying to prevent a spike in COVID-19 cases, but she needs city council support to keep that ordinance in place. The council voted 6-1 to pass the emergency order regulating bars and restaurants. The new orders require people to remain seated at those bars and restaurants, wear face coverings when you're not eating or drinking, and maintain social distancing. It also orders bars to ban people younger than 21 after 9:00 p.m. Some people spoke out during the meeting against limiting how many guests could attend gatherings, while others argued for even stricter regulations. Mayor Marlin defended the order.
We tried to draw a line, we're kind of drawing a line between individual rights, between freedoms and flexibility, but also protecting the safety of the public.
Some council members asked about how the city plans to enforce rules on private property versus public, and asked if it's up to the government to let the community decide how to behave in their own homes. The city's legal team says a lot of the decisions came down to what public health and university officials felt would help the city the most.
Students at the U of I and across part of the country are back to using Zoom. That was after they were locked out of the video conferencing platform. U of I's Technology Services Department locked into the problem once students started having issues. Now, they were able to quickly find a solution and get students back in their virtual classrooms.
One student from the U of I is studying thousands of miles away from campus because of travel restrictions. Graduate student Flavia Batista da Silva says she hasn't been able to return to campus. That's due to a presidential proclamation issued for Brazil. Brazil is one of several countries under this type of restriction. It restricts entry of travelers into the United States who have been in some countries during the past 14 days. Now, despite that, she says she still wants to get back to the U.S. for school.
For me, education should be considered as essential travel, because we are not going to the U.S. for fun or tourism, because it's not time for that. We are living a pandemic. But we are going there, to the U.S., because we have something to do there.
U of I sent a statement saying wherever our students are starting their semester, we are committed to ensuring that they have the transformational educational experience that we promise here at Illinois, and continue to support them through virtual services and programming.
Well, for the second year in a row, kindergarten students have shown an increase in readiness. The State Board of Education studies kids the first 40 days of kindergarten. They look at how kids interact with each other, do schoolwork, play, and follow directions. More than 118,000 students were observed last year. Nearly 30% showed readiness in the most important areas.
Heading out to your car, it's going to be a warm and sticky one. We expect to see those temperatures around more of the lower to mid 70s in a lot of our spots. Here's a look at that right there. 72 southwest winds are not going to help out to ease any of the warmth or the heat that we're going to have later into the afternoon, but a lot of sunshine if you like to see that. Charleston, Roofing Algonquin, first mid weather camera. It's a quiet start here this morning. We're noticing the sun now just beginning to lift itself and seeing a lot more of that sunlight at least. We still got about 20 minutes before the official start of sunrise, but we got 70 in Champaign, 68 in Effingham, sitting at 69 in parts of Springfield. Rain actually not too far away, but it is going to be missing the area and heading more so into Indiana and dodging us. So we're going to keep things dry here in central Illinois. You can see just like yesterday afternoon, the very straight chance of a shower or a storm bubbling up into Indiana or a little farther south across the state. Won't be happening for us, though. We're going to have to wait until we go later into the week before those rain chances do begin to increase. And once they do, we're going to notice some things beginning to cool down, and the heat will ease a bit, but more of a relief from the heat comes over the weekend and into next work week. We'll show you that when we show you your 7-day forecast coming up here in about 4 minutes. Mac and Christy.
All right, thank you, Adam. Well, a family in central Illinois will lay a loved one to rest later today.
This is after they are mourning the loss of 2 family members. We told you about this on the morning show when 5-year-old Elena Jarnigan was killed in a fire in Bethany. At the time of her death, her family was already grieving the loss of another family member. Jarnigan's great-uncle Mike Castelli died in a crash in Moultrie County 2 days earlier. His funeral will be in Levington today at McMillian and Young. Pastor Rob Roy of First United Methodist Church says in times like these, the community comes together.
It's a very family-oriented community. We are very shocked by this, and we are praying for this family, and we're just want to let them know that they're loved.
Jarnigan's funeral is still being planned.
Bikers are asking other drivers to watch out for them. This comes after several deadly crashes. 2 people on a motorcycle were killed in Decatur over the weekend, and we told you about that on the morning show. 2 others were killed in Christian and Effingham counties. Even though every crash is different, there are a few things you can do to improve safety on the road.
One thing, too, is following too closely. Lots of times cars, I'll notice, it'll scare me. I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and there's somebody just right behind me. And the thing is, I can stop so much quicker than what they can.
And other things to consider are visibility and always keeping your headlights turned on.
No one was hurt after a Champaign-Urbana MTD bus was hit by gunfire. This happened at East Columbia Avenue and North 5th Street in Champaign. Police say the bus was stopping to pick up a passenger when people in 2 cars in that area started shooting at each other. 6 people, including the driver, were on the bus at the time. MTD officials say this is the first time this has ever happened with an MTD bus. Food insecurity affects thousands of families in central Illinois.
And that's why the Eastern Illinois Food Bank will be leaving the warehouse and hitting the road to reach even more people. WCI3's Karina Rubio joins us live in Champaign this morning with more. Karina.
Hey, Matt, good morning. People with Eastern Illinois Food Bank say that demand has gone up even more during the pandemic, and they just got a $417,000 grant from Feeding America's COVID-19 response fund to reach even more people. They'll use that money to buy a beverage truck to add 50 mobile food distribution sites in rural communities. The truck will travel to those underserved areas with the food distributed directly from it. The grant will also be used to expand the food bank's inventory to include more culturally diverse choices. Food Bank President and CEO Jim Heyer says, quote, hunger affects people from all walks of life. We'll be able to better serve children, families, and seniors with nutritious, culturally appropriate food. Reporting live in Champaign, Karina Rubio, WCIA3, your local news leader.
All right, thank you, Karina. Well, he's one of the few Illinois governors who's respected for his time in office.
Still to come in the 6 o'clock hour of the morning show, why Jim Edgar turned some heads when it comes to the upcoming election.
But before we go, here's one last check of the weather. Hey, Adam.
Back into the 90s we'll head this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine and more of the same throughout at least Thursday before we cool down by the weekend.